A new ban list for Master Duel has just been announced in-game, and we're also going to be streaming today on Friday as we ban or pay loyal viewers for their replays as we also react to some new cards. And on Sunday, we're going to be streaming the new leak for the August pack, the second deck of 3 to be leaking, and we're going to do a $1,000 tournament qualifier with the new ban list. Now, let's hop right into the ban list, and we should also look at the tier list here. We have Duel, Snake Eye Fire King being the tier 1 decks here. Now, Duel just came out, so I can't really think of anything that they would hit from here. And if they were to further hit Snake Eye Fire King, which has already received a ton of hits recently, Bonfire, I believe, being the latest one, they could hit the Wanted Seeker. That would have to be banning it. They could also hit something like Kieran, at least semi-limiting it. Branded up to tier 2 again. Every time Branded starts climbing up the tier list, Konami does something to knock it down. I swear this entire deck's going to be limited to one day. Then we have some miscellaneous decks down at tier 3. Now, let's hop right into this. Starting off with cards to be unlimited, we have Trishula. Let's zoom in a bit here. Trishula. When this card synchro summoned, banish a card on the field, graveyard, and hand. And I believe this card was limited to 1, then semi-limited, and now it's fully unlimited. Now, it is an ice barrier, and if you're paying attention to my content, I have unveiled what's coming in the August pack to be ice barrier. But the card's already only played at 1 in ice barrier. It is summoned through the Ice Mountain, leaving the field. Then you get to banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, grave. And then there's the other Trishula, which could instead banish up to 3 cards in the field. I'm actually very much excited for this deck. I think some people were disappointed with me announcing this, but there are still some that were very happy about this. So maybe this is a nod towards Ice Barrier coming out. Konami further confirming my leak. But what's really toxic about Trishula is, I actually have a video on this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 2 seconds. Let's go. YouTube.com, and it's going to be Trishula Loop. DK Trishula Loop. Now, with this deck, I don't know how many Trishulas I had in this, but it was all about looping your opponent's entire hand down to 0 cards in the very first turn. So if I look at the extra deck here, this is where I had 2, and it was quite difficult with just 2, and now I think it's going to be even easier to do. So look at this craziness. My clock, look how long this takes. I think even this video is skipping some of my plays to do this. And they have 0 cards in the hand. Now, what if they top deck something good? Well, we're going to also be making a Baron to Floor, which they then top deck something. We just pop it. So I guess this toxic deck is maybe back in business, as it's going to be easier to play. So if you want to take a little screenshot of this, and this is a while ago that we played this. Oh my Jesus. So there you go. Maybe I'll whip this. Wait, it has Chaos Ruler in it, a banned card. Anyway, back to the ban list. We have what's left. Infernity Launcher from 2 to 3. And as you can see, it's already unlimited in the OCG. So my question is this doing anything in the OCG? So on the card page here, we'll click on TCG stats. There are no OCG stats. What the heck? There's nothing. TCG back in 2014. OCG here, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, is anything else limited for the OCG here? Type in Infernity. We could click on the OCG filter. I don't see anything. It's fully unfreaking limited. Now, I used to play Infernity back in the day, and we would set up triple Infernity Barrier, and I think that was the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History where you really had cards that were not you just had this many negates. There wasn't really a negate fest back in the day of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this was the first big deck that did it. So this is nuts. And nothing was a hard once per turn in this deck, including the Infernity Launcher, and that's why this had to get hit. Now, there's another card that I used, and it was Lavalval Chain. It is forbidden. Let's type in forbidden. There it is. So what this would do is we would send Infernity Archene from the deck to the graveyard, then you'd reborn it, and I guess, you know, this still has to be banned. It would be too broken among many other decks that could be using this, not just Infernity. Is it even in the TCG stats here of the decks they were using it? Yeah, see Lavalval Chain and their deck list, yup. And this was the Synchro variant where they were not, Xyz cards did not even come out yet, where they had triple Infernity Barrier. That is nuts. So I guess we could kind of go back to what this was back in the day. This was super tier 0 alongside X-Saber. It was doing very well. So something like this, make a modern version of this. All right, let's go on back over. And I guess I could quickly show what it's been doing recently in Master Duel. Horus. So Horus, and now you could play triple launcher. Okay, great. What else we have here? Arsenal, Zeus. We got Zeus is here from 2 to 3. It's limited to 1 in OCG, And ever since it went to 2, it's not really been played at 2. The main reason to play it at 2 is going to be if people are playing Unicorn. Unicorn usually does banish your limited to 1 Zeus from your extra deck, but ever since it's been semi-limited and Unicorn's not been that prevalent, it doesn't really matter. So may as well have the card playable at 3. Why not? And if we look here, is anyone even playing it at 2? A little bit of purely, not really. If we go into TCG land, anyone even playing it at 3 where they've had it at 3 for a very long time now? No. So I don't know what happened back in the day that made it so Zeus had to be limited to 1. Maybe someone in the comments could let me know that 2 or more Zeus was broken. I can't imagine why. Now, let's keep on going. What do we have here? Sekka's Lights. Ooh, I think this might be a bit controversial. These are usually played in a degenerate deck. You have to have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard. You draw 2, and then you get to banish this card from the graveyard, reveal a card in your hand, draw another. It's almost like a draw 3. And Sekka's Lights, Sky Striker, Wind Up, Vernisolith, Danger, Emancipator. Yeah, decks like that. Okay, sure. And is it going to really be doing that much? Well, it went from 2 to 3, and even at 2, it's really not doing anything. If we go on to the top decks page, this will see showing us the last 2 weeks. We'll do the last 4 weeks of anyone using Sekka's Light. None. So it's just been absolutely irrelevant. Konami knows it. Oh, okay, we got Wagon from 2 to 3 also. But yeah, this is why this card could go to 3 now, and that's fine. When it was a problem, it did get limited. It was semi-limited. It was because I think of the Emancipator was the main reason why. Now, Wagon from 2 to 3, Superheavy Samurai. This is a deck that changed the analytics of a card like the Droll and Lockbird. If we type in Droll here, Droll on usage rate, 15.5%, but it was at 70% when Superheavy Samurai was absolutely dominating Master Duel. And ever since then, the deck got hit by a bunch of hits. The Soul Piercer being limited to 1. You banish this once, you get rid of it once, then they're not able to continually loop it. It's not a hard once per turn effect. Keeps on being sent to the grave. You keep on searching your deck. And I think that is the only hit, right? Well, the burn card, that's not really needed for the deck to be good. The Link is still banned in the TCG. So is this a big deal for Wagon going from 2 to 3? I don't think so. I guess they're 1-card starters now instead of like 13. Now they have 14 1-card starters. Sure, okay. The deck still hard loses to cards like, Max Seed, like most combo decks like this, like Manadium. Sure, let's keep on going. And they also recently they started abusing Archfiend Calamity recently, which had to get banned because of Horus Naturia and also Centurion. So happy to see this being banned, and Superheavy Samurai, is it really going to have an emergence after this? Probably not. Let's keep on going. Cards be forbidden. Ido what? Ido the Supreme Magical Force? This doesn't make sense. Gimmick Puppet's way better than this. If this card is on the field, you cannot summon monsters. So what you do is you summon it to your opponent's side of the field with a Sanctifier. I got to put the N. Sanctifier Dragon is going to summon onto your opponent's side of the field, but we weren't even using it for that. We were using it with the Expulsion even. Expulsion was a card that had to get banned, which has pretty much the same effect to the Sanctifier. So what is going on here? When was the last time anyone was even using this card? Level 6, okay. April, March, February. Yeah, this is not really that relevant. And the puppet's just a lot better. Now, why is the puppet better? It's because, here, I'll bring it up. This is a continuous effect. You cannot summon monsters. So if you get rid of this, it's going to no longer be locking you out of summoning monsters. Now, the Gimmick Puppet is going to be a continuous effect that applies even if it leaves the field. It's banned. What? Gimmick Puppet and Ido banned at the same time? Holy moly. This just won a Meta Weekly. Is Konami watching our tournaments or what? Top 8, top 4, top 16, top 4 of another Asian tournament. It was Abomod was playing this at 2. Not at 2, but that 2's in his name. He got first place of a Meta Weekly just a couple weeks ago with the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, and now it's banned. Oh my gosh, that is a good thing. I'm actually happy about that. Where am I? We got to click all over here. We're all over the freaking place now. I'm absolutely lost over this. Jeez, this is crazy. This is a good thing. And the TCG players have been crying about this so much because, so you can see here, 54% being used and branded. But click on TCG stats, it's being used at 87%. It is a lot more popular within the TCG. And what about OCG? They're all 69%. And a lot of people were upset that this knocked out a good player within, I think it was a national tournament or a big YCS, where they were doing well throughout the whole tournament. Then they got gimmick puppet locked twice in a row, and there was nothing they could do. What's really nasty about this is you don't chain to it. It's not like chain link 1. You can't then chain negate it, chain remove it, get rid of it. As soon as it's summoned, it immediately applies the effect of you cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of this turn except gimmick puppet monsters. Now, what's really funny about this is I just got Master 1 with branded using this, and I was working on a video to post this. I guess I'll still work on it and post the video, but what the heck? Konami's been watching my duels, maybe. Maybe I knocked out a mad lad. Ido and gimmick puppet. What else could they hit, though? There are other ones. There is the Winged Dragon of Ra one that locks you out of special summoning also. So I don't want to spoil myself. Maybe that's also on the list. And I guess Jowgen is maybe something you could also be summoning. Let's see. Ido, banned. Gimmick Puppet, banned. Okay. And what else? Full changes? That's it? So, what? Winged Dragon of Ra. Winged Dragon of Ra's Disciple could be another card you could summon onto the field. And something like Jowgen also. Neither player could special summon monsters. And then Ra's Disciple says, you cannot special summon except the effects of Ra's Disciple. So if you want me to help make sense of this for you, the Ido and the Gimmick Puppet, what are they both? They're both dark, and what's very important, they're both level 6 or higher. So the reason why they did not hit Ra's Disciple or Jowgen is because of another card, and that's Grangrenol. Grangrenol is one of the main ways to get your Gimmick Puppet into the graveyard. You could, of course, get your Gimmick Puppet in the graveyard through Branded Fusion, which you normally don't do on your initial activation of Branded Fusion. What you would do is if you had, let's say, a Fusion duplication, you would duplicate the Branded Fusion on your opponent's turn, and only then you would use Branded Fusion to send the Gimmick Puppet. Otherwise, Gangrenol was the main way, the most common way to get the Puppet or the Ido into the graveyard, and all you needed was a Cartesia to be able to do this. So these two cards being tied to the Grangrenol, that is a big reason why to hit them. And now with the Ra's Disciple and the Jowgen, you're going to have to send them directly with your Branded Fusion. The reason you're not going to want to do that is, and I'll be outlining this within my video also, let's look at Branded real quick. The number one play with Branded, the best play with Branded Fusion is if you have another dark monster in your hand field or graveyard, which will likely be something like your Aluber, what you do is you Branded Fusion, send from the deck your Lubellion, because you want to be summoning your Albion, and then you don't want to be banishing it for your Mirror Jade. You want to keep it on the field. So your Albaz and your Aluber or your other dark monster will then be making the Lubellion. Then Lubellion will go into Mirror Jade. And what's important about this is so that you could now use Lubellion to send your Albion on the field to the graveyard. So if you send a Jowgen to the graveyard or the Ra's Disciple, it's just not going to work out as well. You're going to miss out on triggering your Albion, searching for a branded spell trap within the end phase. You're not going to be able to set up your branded loss, which is what the Bestial Lubellion does. So being able to get the Puppet into the graveyard through your Blazing Cartesia going into your Grangrenol was so much better. So I do not think Jowgen or Ra's Disciple will be replacing the Gimmick Puppet. I think that this successfully does deal with that toxic part of this deck. And my question for all of you is, have any of you even been Puppet locked before? I don't feel like this was even relevant on the ladder. I mean, Konami's got to be watching tournaments for a ban like this, right? I mean, I don't want to be sniffing my own stuff here, but this does seem like a tournament ban if you're asking me, because this is not a relevant ladder hit. Now, what else about the full other change? Let's see. Trishula, I mean, oh my gosh. So nothing for Yubel, nothing for Snake Eye Fire King. I guess maybe they're enjoying sitting back watching Yubel climb above Snake Eye Fire King. And with Snake Eye Fire King falling in relevance to Yubel, look at the popularity rankings here. Look at that, like 7.6%. And I know this is just our website, but like this also very likely reflects the ladder. I'm playing against a lot more Yubel players than Snake Eye Fire King. So to hit Snake Eye Fire King when it's already on the downfall to Yubel, and then there's Yubel's too new to hit. What do you hit? I mean, you could, what do you got to, you hit one of the regular Yubel? You can't do that. You're going to hit the Unchained cards. That'd be ridiculous. You're playing one Yama. So what? You'd have to ban it. One Shavara. So you have to ban it. What they could have possibly done, they could possibly hit something like the Dark Beckoning Beast or the Opening the Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates going to 1, I think would be a pretty big hit for the deck. And that's something that I would actually predict to be happening in the future. And, you know, Dark Beckoning would not be as bad. I think the Spirit Gates would be a lot. This is so much better to open up with. The Spirit Gates also is able to recycle your Nightmare Pain if that ever goes to the graveyard. Just add it back to your hand for free if you have a level 10 on the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how Konami decides to hit this deck in the future. And if you're a Yubel player yourself and you're worried going, oh my gosh, you're going to hit my deck. I just built this. This deck is going to be safe at least for the next 2 months. For the next, so you got your Master 1 or whatever your highest rank for this season, next season, and even I would say the season after, you're perfectly fine and safe from this deck getting hit, likely if they follow the precedent that's been set with every other deck that's come out and been new and been good. So yeah, you'll be good there, but I do see Yubel getting hit in the future. And Sekka's Light, not going to be a big deal. I don't think Wagon's going to be a big deal. Zeus is nothing. Launcher, nothing. Trishula, absolute. You know, just for toxicness, okay. This will actually have an impact on our tournaments. Gimmick Puppet was being played in a lot of the branded decks. It is tier 2 for its tournament performance, doing very well. And, you know, that's the funny thing. You read Reddit, and Reddit goes, oh, branded, that's just a tournament deck. You don't see that on the ladder. Well, Konami just hit it for the ladder. So I don't know. Konami's watching the Meta Weekly. Let's freaking go. Let's see if there's some comments. Let me refresh the screen. Let's go to the comments here. Branded players. Oh no, my puppet lock is banned. No. Also branded players. See, Roz decided. Okay, yeah, but I did explain why they're not going to be switching to that. Okay, yeah. Jack Taurus, very good. Grand Granol, can't be dumped. Yup. Would require to dump them with brand fusion or had to hard open them. Yup. Arclord Christia is interesting. Arclord Christia hit. Okay. They actually banned Puppet Almeo. Yeah, and I know TCG players are going to be envious of this ban. They want it to be hit in their own format. And something I should highlight, which is just an absolute anomaly here. But look at branded. As I said, the deck keeps on getting hit until everything's going to be limited to 1. You have the Opening, the Fusion. You have the Aliber semi-limited. You have the Serenir limited to 1 here. And if we go on over to TCG land, the deck is like fully unfreaking hit. So TCG stats branded, triple branded Fusion, triple Opening, triple Aluber. They can play as many Serenirs if they want to. It's just limited to 1 in Master Duel, and they choose to play it at 1 in TCG. Yet this is still just not the best deck in TCG. So on Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, we can go on the tier list here. Snake Eye Fiendsmith is the best deck. It's climbing up there. We could sort by the latest set that just came out. Yep, 50%. Oh my gosh. So you tell me what you think. 65% is tier 0, 50% not. So it's on its way towards tier 0 if you believe 65% rep to be that. Very nice. And what else do we have looking? Some things we don't have yet. We don't have Tenpai Dragon, Ritual Beast up here. We don't have Ritual Beast. We don't have Fiendsmith. And if we go on to OCG, what's crazy? Rescue Ace is relevant there. We don't have Voiceless Voice. I will be announcing a new deck on this Sunday, and then the week after I'll be announcing the 3rd new deck that will be coming, so make sure you look out for that. And again, I will see you on stream today, Friday, where we're going to do some new card reacts, banner pay for some crazy replays. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you very much. We are out.